It's really amazing. If you look at the documents and sort of survey history, it's amazing, that the system has lasted those 74 years, and given its endurance, famines, revolutions, defeats, defeat in World War II on a scale, first few months, which was unparalleled. I mean, the Germans took what, 3 million prisoners in the first 6 months?
Yeah.
And then the system collapses by itself, so it seems, 89 to 92.
Well, it's interesting, Berdiaev, whom I don't always admire, but he made a very good point. He said that there's absolutely no way, he wrote this in the 20s or 30s, that's before World War II, there's no way a system like that can be destroyed from the outside. It has to corrupt from within, and the collapse will come from within. It has to rot, and it rotted.
Well, anybody else would have said it was the other way around, that a system like that could only be destroyed in some horrendous occasion like nuclear war, or even a more devastating defeat that the Germans dealt it in the first month of the war in 41, but it disintegrates.
Yeah.
And whether it's corruption, which is one element, but there's also sort of personal factors which are very important. I mean, you have the psychology of Gorbachev and then personality of Yeltsin, both factors which you cannot sort of theorize on the basis of, quote, social sciences, and yet which were vital in the destruction of the system. Like the last Czarist Duma, which was a very pro-Czarist, conservative Duma, but it proved to be the main instrument of the destruction of the prestige of the Czarist regime. So this whole intricate idea, which in many ways was sort of a Rube Goldberg device of Congress of the People's Deputies, which then elects the legislature, all those reserved seats for various social organizations, like Communist Party, which would assure the majority for the Communist Party, all that proved completely ineffective in view of the fact that people suddenly could speak for themselves.
Yeah, yeah. Well, they didn't know much history, and I think they were the victims of their own propaganda. They really thought that people believed fundamentally. People were unhappy, they knew that, but they thought that fundamentally people believed. And there I go back to what I said before, the isolation of government. It happens in any government, even democratic governments. It happens in our government too. You saw it with Bush. Bush was 12 years in the White House, and I think he totally lost contact with what people wanted. And that makes it possible for somebody like Clinton to come along, and because he does mix with people all the time, to appeal to the voters in a way that Bush couldn't anymore. Now imagine a communism nomenclature that's been there for 70 years really cut off. I have really no idea, but if you went to the Soviet Union, as I did numerous times, and speak Russian and you talk to people, I won't say dissatisfaction, but a kind of cynicism about the regime. They disbelieve in everything it's said. They believed absolutely nothing, even when the government was telling the truth. That I think they weren't aware of.
Well, you have, of course, glasnost, which Gorbachev originally conceived not in the sense in which it's immediately materialized, namely lack of censorship and full openness about the past, but he conceived it more in the terms of the Tsarist times, when glasnost was to mean simply that the people were to be informed what the government
That's
is
right,
doing.
it tends to do, yeah.
In other words, to do away with the conspiratorial form of government by the Politburo in the last instance, which Soviets have, but then glasnost becomes sort of the opening for free speech. Yeah. And this horrendous histories about the past, about Stalin, Lenin, terror, and other things. And that creates the mood of not only of citizens, but of passionate hatred of the past.
It supports the view which many people had, and which I suspect Stalin shared, that the system is not reformable. We have to keep the system the way it is, because the moment you let some shafts of light in, it will collapse.